Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Only Stupid Answers. That's right, everybody. We're back. Took a little bit of a break because somebody had a baby. Oh my goodness! But now we are back. I'm your host, DJ Woldridge. With me, as always, is Roxy Stryer. Hello, Roxy.
What's up, DJ?
How are you doing?
I am doing fine. I, for one time in my life, have gotten more sleep than you.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And today what we're talking about is, listen, Joker, Folie à Deux is coming out. The Penguin show is on the air. We're going to be talking about Batman villains. We're going to not only be talking about Joker 2 and the Penguin, but also what Bat villains we think should be getting their own spin-offs. But before we do that, a little bit of business up top, as always. If you want more of the show, you can do that over at patreon.com/only2stupidanswers. We got exclusive shows over there. You can watch this live. If you want to give us a review on iTunes, 5 stars, leave a comment, please and thank you. And we're also reading comments from our YouTube and from Spotify. This is from our 400th episode celebration that came out a couple weeks back. Again, we were on a little hiatus. We got Kit Kat Sneak Attack says, congrats, 400 episodes strong. Here's to another 400,000. Oh my goodness. Casey Soup 3 says, Sal is correct manga. It's so much easier to dive into because all you have to do is pick up volume 1. Then you read until you're done. It also helps people looking to buy a book as a gift. Superhero comics that are forever renumbered and retitled over the course of decades will never be that simple. Says Source work in publishing, so I guess they work in publishing. And then Malik Ely says, love you three together, holy shit. The honest, the cynical, and the optimistic, a holy trinity. And my question is, which one is the honest and which one is the cynical? Which I assume, perhaps incorrectly, that Roxy is the optimistic. But see, because when you say honest, that seems like, well, this is the correct one. So who's the honest one?
I don't know if I've ever been called the optimistic. I do feel optimistic, but I don't know that that's something that I am typically called.
Well, so clarify in the comments who was who. Or maybe don't. Leave the mystery. Leave the mystery. Also, if you want to head over to my personal channel, DJ Talks Trash, same as my social handle, over the break, it was my break, it's not like spring break where everybody was off, it was my break. I posted an interview I did with Michael Swaim, who you might know from Cracked and Small Beans. It is great. Not quite getting the views that, granted, I wasn't around to really promote it, not quite getting the views I wanted, and I think it was really good. I think it was a really insightful, interesting conversation, and I wish more people checked it out. So go give that a look, please, and thank you. And so, Roxy, something I've been learning as I've been posting more stuff is people in the comments don't like it when I say, we're going to talk about a thing. And then, normally I like to hold, the good stuff. You got to wait till the end. People in YouTube don't really, they're not too happy about that. So let's start off with the title and the thumb of this, which is, which Bat villains? We actually have a question here from the Discord, which you can ask from the Patreon, that relates to this. Stacey Guetta asks, which other Batman character do you think would warrant another spin-off TV show? For example, I think before the Batman 2, it would be cool to see a show with the rise of Harvey Dent in the Gotham political system in the aftermath of the Riddler situation. Also, this is unrelated, but when Roxy is finished watching all the Evil Dead movies for Real Rejects, you guys should do an episode on the franchise as a whole, since DJ is such a fan. It would be cool to hear both of your takes on it. I also think that would be cool. But it is also...
You guys haven't seen them, but I did finish watching all of them.
All 3 Evil Dead Rise? The most
There's
recent
only
one?
one Evil Dead Rise.
Yes. But the original 3, then the remake, and then Evil Dead Rise?
Yes.
Nice.
The 5 movies, all 5 Evil Dead movies.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah, I can't talk about them yet.
Okay.
But you're my friend, so I can tell you about it later.
Okay. And are they making you watch the show too, or no? You guys don't do shows?
No, not to the show. I will say that it's by far and away the scariest franchise of any franchise I've ever seen. Like it's not on par with, because prior to this I did Chucky.
Oh yeah.
I did Friday the 13th. I did Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
I did Purge. this is the scariest for sure.
It's funny,
Like,
especially when you get to the two recent ones where it was kind of like, let's go back to being fucked up. Let's go back to.
but now they have me doing Terrifier.
Ooh, Terrifier 1 is okay. Terrifier 2 is great.
I've only seen one so far.
One is kind of hard to get. Like, there's cool ideas in there, but it's kind of hard to get through. Terrifier 2
so
is
gruesome.
great. Terrifier 2 is also gruesome, but it is great. Terrifier 2 is a little long, but it's great. Highly recommend Terrifier 2. Very excited for Terrifier 3.
To the question that was asked, I feel like the cop-out answer is like Catwoman.
We're going to get into it because I do want us to give us our pitches, but it is
okay.
baffling.
No,
but this is you bring up a good thing because it is so far. We'll talk about Penguin in a minute, but Penguin show is really solid, like shockingly solid to me. Even I like the Batman, but I was still like a Penguin show, like whatever. But like Catwoman, Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman's like right there. Like, what are we doing? Like Catwoman has supported her own comic for decades. So how is there not a Catwoman show or Catwoman movie? How are we not? Are we still scared because of the Halle Berry thing? That seems silly to me. Like, Catwoman's one of the most iconic.
What Halle Berry thing?
The Halle Berry Catwoman movie that was awful.
What do you mean scared because of it?
Because it was awful and it bombed,
well?
and now we're scared of it. You know, once a movie bombs, we're scared to ever do that thing ever again forever. You know what I mean? Like, that's why the Green Lantern show is a show and not a movie, because the Ryan Reynolds movie bombed. But you bring that up, it's like, yeah, why not? Why have we not?
Fantastic Four, we've done 5 movies.
That is a good point. But yeah, I don't know.
5. How many Fantastic Four movies have we had? This is going to be the 4th? The 3rd?
Yes. The 4th if you don't count the Roger Corman one, which was never officially released.
Okay.
Anyway, but yes, Catwoman. Like, why? Well, what are we doing? Other than Zoe Kravitz not wanting to do it? You know what I mean?
I don't think that's true, though, because she did. What was that show called, Big Little Lies, that I loved her on?
And she was on that. There was a high fidelity show that got a season. Yeah. So it's like, it seems like a slam dunk. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I know. That's kind of weird.
Okay, so one of the reasons we're talking about this today is Roxy saw Joker, FOLIE À DEUX, and we'll be talking about in a minute. We're both watching.
What does FOLIE À DEUX mean?
Isn't it the fool of something? It's like a phrase. And okay, FOLIE.
I don't know.
FOLIE À DEUX meaning, thank you, a delusion or mental illness shared by 2 people in close association. Yeah, that works. It's a little frustrating. In my notes and everything is Joker 2 because I don't want to keep spelling that out, but that works. We've got that. We've got the Penguin. In the news this week, I think it was this week, time's a little slippery. There was a THR broke that there's supposedly a Bane Deathstroke movie being produced by DC. And then meanwhile, back in 2022, as the Penguin movie was getting into production, or Penguin show was getting into production, THR
I knew what you meant.
Also broke that Reeves is meeting, this is a quote from the article, Reeves is meeting with writers and directors to build out movies. Movies, not just series, focused on Batman's rogues gallery, both established and more obscure, with characters ranging from Scarecrow to Clayface to Professor Pig. All those projects are in very early stages of development. So, with that in mind, clearly Bat villains are big business, unless, you're one that has a series like Catwoman. First, before I get into I want to hear your pitch, Roxy, but how do you feel about this push for Bat villain properties with sans Batman?
It's weird conversation, DJ, because I've seen Joker 2.
Yes.
And that kind of changed a little bit my feelings.
Ooh, I'm excited. Stay tuned for that one, kids. We're going to get into that later.
But I do get it. It is not a DC push for villain stories, as we've seen, like Maleficent, right?
Yeah, and then Sony has been doing all the spider villains.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not like all of a sudden DC had this idea. It seems to be kind of where we're at in the world right now. We've really focused on heroes for a long time.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
I do think it says something about our society that we are like, it is time for the villains.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it's what our world needs right now.
Mm-hmm.
However, it does make for exciting storytelling.
Yeah.
And I do think that, again, I'll talk more about this in Joker 2, but what we're going to have a hard time with as a society is telling villain stories and explaining how they got there without justifying how they got there. Because what I don't want to see is the next decade of you're a villain and that makes sense. It's okay. It was really hard on you. Because that not lesson I like.
Yeah, I think we're really bad at that as a society. Case in point, like, oh, Thanos was right. No, he wasn't. What are you talking about?
And like 50% of the people who saw that movie said that sentence coming out of the theater, and I was like, what?
Yeah,
I don't think Thanos is wrong. I mean, is he wrong? And it's like
because it's not even that he did a bad thing. It's that his aims don't even make sense. Like, that's not how things work. Like, that's not how you get rid of half the people. That's not the overpopulation isn't actually the problem. It's that a few people are chewing up a lot of the resources. So if you're just randomly getting rid of half the people, that's not solving the problem.
Yes. It's also not an unrealistic problem. Like with Thanos, the problem wasn't too many aliens have come to our planet at this point, which is a problem that we don't currently have here, depending on what you believe.
Yeah.
But people do talk about overpopulation here. And so people being like, the solution is
get rid of them.
Kill half the people.
Yeah, it's like, well, that's
not something I'm wanting society to feel.
And it's and I think the other tricky half of it is later this year we're getting the Wicked movie based off the play, which is based off the book. And one of my issues with that play or the musical, which is good, is that it's just like, what if the Wicked? It's not like, hey, we're going to contextualize her position. It's like, what if she was just the good guy? What if we're going to completely flip it and it's like every bad thing she did, actually you just misunderstood and she's good. And it's like, that's kind of boring. Like,
it's like a different movie. It's really not a prequel to Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Right? You can't think of it that way. However, just while we're on it, did you see the lie detector test that, Vanity Fair does that or whoever, between Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande?
No, I did not.
They lie detector test and they put it on Ariana Grande as press for the movie.
Yeah.
And Cynthia asked her, do you believe that we landed on the moon?
Oh, no.
And she says, yes. And the woman goes,
wow.
And then Cynthia says, do you believe that the earth is flat? And she was like panicking.
Yeah,
she was like, well, I thought that I believed that we landed on the moon. And I just said that you said that was inclusive. Yes, I think that the earth is round. I don't think that the earth is flat. Like, starts to truly panic. Then they switch it. And she asks Cynthia those questions. And she's like, yes, we landed on the moon.
Yeah.
Yes, the earth is round. And she's like, yeah, you do believe that.
Yeah.
And Ariana's like, what the hell do I believe then?
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, lie detector tests are infamously not that accurate, but that is hilarious.
It was just funny. I'm not thinking she actually feels that way, but I was like, this is the kind of press I want to see more often for movies.
Yes, 100%. I'm excited for it. It's a good musical. It just instead of making, what I'm trying to contextualize is instead of making the Wicked Witch complicated, it just makes her a good guy, which isn't like the most interesting character in Wicked becomes Glinda because she has like an actual like arc and changes as a character, whereas I can't remember what the name they give the Wicked Witch, but she's just the good guy. And it's just like, well, that's not as
opposed
compelling.
to what we do in Karate Kid, Cobra Kai, which is like we don't pretend that Johnny Lawrence this whole time has been a saint.
Yeah,
we just are focused on him, and he becomes our protagonist, and we see like why. But he's still kind of a schmuck.
Well, and the other smart thing about that too is it does like a good example that people on lines will know. Jim from The Office. He's one of our main characters in The Office. But then if you like recontextualize his actions, it's like, wait, Jim's an asshole. You know what I mean? Like, so Cobra Kai does the same thing where it's like some of the stuff Ralph Macchio did wasn't so great in the karate. Hold on a second. Wait a second.
Totally. And I like those kind of stories, but I just am going to throw this out there again. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to like Joker 2, DJ, based on some things you just said.
Yeah. Well, it's tough because I remember feeling mixed coming out of Joker 1. Because the feeling in the theater, when you're watching the theaters, was very visceral. Like everybody was on the edge of their seat. You could debate whether that was a good thing or a bad thing, but everybody was like, what is happening? You know, and that visceral feeling it makes for a powerful movie experience. And then I watched it again, and it was like at home, and I was like, and then I watched King of Comedy, Martin Scorsese's King of Comedy, and I realized, wait, this is Joker just completely lifted King of Comedy for Joker. That's the same movie. And that made me even less like on board with it. But to that point, that's a good segue to what I want to talk about, because it seems like the ticket for getting your Batman or any villain movie off the ground is being like, what if? So like Joker 1, I don't know about Joker 2 because I haven't seen it. Roxy's seen it. I haven't. Joker 1 is like, what if Taxi Driver or King of Comedy, but now with Joker? And the Penguin, which I like, is basically like, what if The Sopranos, but the Penguin? So Roxy, we got a call from Dave Zaslav. He's like, I want to make a Bat villain thing. I want your pitch, but we got to pitch it within the Penguin Joker rules of you got to basically reinvent an iconic movie or show with a Batman villain. What you got? What you got for the Zaz?
I have one movie and one show for you.
Oh, I love
What
it.
do you want?
I love it.
What do you want
Let's start with the movie, since you're the TV girl. Let's start with movie, then go to TV.
Okay. A Walk to Remember, but Mr. Freeze.
Okay, for the kids at home, a brief reminder of what happens in The Walk to Remember. Is that the one with the girl? Oh, it's the one with the dying girl and the guy.
A Walk to Remember it's not just a dying girl. It is Mandy Moore.
Yeah.
And yes, but insert Fault in Our Stars.
Yeah. We love it. We love. Is Fault in Our Stars dying boy? Is that another dying girl?
I think they're both dying. They meet in a cancer.
Oh, cool. God, dude, no wonder Fault in Our Stars makes people cry. What if they're both dying? Oh my God.
Yeah, something like that. But I think let's do full blown rom-drom.
Yep.
Mr. Freeze, origin story, losing Nora. How did it happen? What did the love look like? Pull at our heartstrings, and then throw us into the sequel. Full-blown villain status.
Roxy, you just blew both of my pitches out of the water. That's so good.
Excellent.
I love that so much. That would be so fucking funny. That would be so.
It would be. It's like only funny if you're in on it. Like imagine if they don't call it Mr. Freeze until the end.
Even better, imagine if it's actually really good.
Really good.
And you're like, I want to be mad at this because it's not what I want, but it was really good.
It was an excellent rom-dram, and you're sobbing at the end, and then pops up Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, and then it's like it ends with him putting on the helmet, and you're like, wait,
what?
Because they just call him Victor. It's Victor and Nora, and you're like, oh man, and you're like, wait a second. Okay, all right. So just so you don't blow me out of the water twice, I'm gonna do my show first. Because it is also Mr. Freeze.
Did you do movie and show?
Yeah, I did. I didn't intend to, but
God.
I did. Okay, so mine is much more conventional, which is why yours is better. Mine is TV show, Breaking Bad, but Mr. Freeze. He's just a normal scientist guy, and now, he's got to get into the Gotham underworld as Freeze guy, and it's just Breaking Bad. It's just Breaking Bad.
I mean, I think it's like way more likely to be made, and B, way more in line with what they're doing.
Yeah.
I think I walk into the room and I pitch my Mr. Freeze Walk to Remember and get laughed out. Jokes on them. It would crush.
Yeah.
But yours is like very legit.
Deadpool was released on Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Okay.
So
okay.
See?
Now you're on board. You're getting it.
I am on board. I would greenlight that in a heartbeat. I'd be like, yes, yes, let's do that. Yes.
I gotta really work hard on my casting.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I believe in you. What do you call it? Like the frozen road? What are you, the
oh my God.
ice road? I don't know.
Cold as ice.
Cold hearts.
Love.
Yeah. Okay. All right. What's your show?
Okay. So I was inspired by us talking about, not today, but just this week, hearing more about Batman's Rogues Gallery.
Yes.
Rogues Gallery, but lost.
Oh yeah.
We land on an island.
Yes. Literally on an island. Yes.
We were broken down on an island.
Yeah.
And we need to, maybe only one season, it might be mini series.
Yeah.
We need to work together to get off of island.
Yeah.
And some people don't make it.
Of course.
DJ.
Of course. Yeah.
Some people die on islands.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking Scarecrow. You know, I have a hard on for Professor Pig.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Catwoman can come over here too.
Why not?
Maybe Poison Ivy. But there's so many people to choose from. I mean, I even loved when we did maybe we just do crossover event and we bring back Captain Cold and Heat Wave.
Yes. Why not?
Cross them over.
Yeah.
And how do we get off this island? And possibly some mystical, weird stuff going on the island. But maybe it's somebody landed there before them. And
there's plenty of magic in the DC universe.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
You got plenty of room for that.
Did Constantine land there before them? What is happening?
I have to admit, I'm kind of bummed that the Bat villains have a monopoly on this, because a Rogues show feels like an easy one to do. A Flash Rogues. You know what I mean? Just a crime heist show or movie with the Flash Rogues. But I'm a little worried that speaking of Halle Berry's Catwoman being a bomb and Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern, I'm a little worried the Flash is now viewed as like a poison chalice.
No, I don't think so. I mean, he has such great, they're really all DC, not minor villains, because some of them are bigger, but let's bring them into the fold.
Yeah.
That's great.
Let's do it. All right. So this is my movie. Another one, not nearly as inventive as yours, but a Deathstroke. I know they're doing this Deathstroke Bane thing, but just a Deathstroke movie. Get the guy who made the Raid and make it the Deathstroke is in a build. Maybe he's in Arkham Asylum and he has to literally fight everybody on the way out. That's it. That's all you need to do.
Let's watch him kick ass.
Yeah.
I mean,
take all my money. Just it's literally wall to wall. He's in one part of a building. He needs to get to the other part of the building, and everybody in the building wants to kill him. It's also the premise of Dread. It's a good premise. Put Deathstroke in there. Let's do it.
I love this for us. But something that I like even more than any of our pitches at all, Leonard Kim, Rogues Gallery, but make it Love is Blind.
Yeah, we got
Love is Blind. Imagine them dating each other through a wall.
Yes, that would be
questions they
amazing.
would ask.
And we also got Mike Joyce Friends, but with the sidekicks of the Bat family. That's actually not an awful idea. That's actually not a bad idea. I would make it animated because I believe there's an all ages comic that is like just the whole Bat family hanging out and being friends. And so I could see an animated series that's that. And we're also getting, this is off the villain topic, but they just announced they're getting a dynamic duo movie, which apparently Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. And they're saying it's going to be a mix of animation, stop motion, CG, live action. And it's like, that could be really cool. And it almost sounds too cool. You know what I mean? Like when you hear something
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, it's like one of those, like, what are you? And James Gunn threw it out there. So I'm wondering, because we're now in a weird space when you hear about like, okay, Bane Deathstroke movie. Is that in Matt Reeves' Bat universe? Or is that in James Gunn's
I don't think so.
DC universe? You know what I mean? Like, where are these things falling? We'll see.
Huh. I don't know.
Speaking of Matt Reeves' epic crime universe, I think it's the Batman epic crime universe is what it's called. Let's hop on over to Mr. Oz Cobb, a.k.a. the Penguin, who's now got his own prestige TV show on Max, starring Colin Farrell. And Roxy, you got screeners for this, so you're a little farther ahead than I am. We're on, I believe, episode 2.
I'm behind because
you watched it like a month ago, right?
Yeah. I've seen a lot between then and now.
Yeah. I was listen, gang. DJ loves a good crime show. All right. And I liked the Batman quite a bit. Thought it was a little long, but I liked it. And so, but I was also the Penguin. I don't know. Do I want a Penguin show? I can
But
say
you also just watched Sopranos for the first time.
that's true. That's a good show. Sopranos is real good. And I guess I'm not entirely against of just ripping off the like general vibe of a whole other show to make your show. I guess I'm okay with it because I like the Penguin. I'm enjoying the show. I think Colin Farrell's doing a really good job. Like it would be really easy to let all those prosthetics do the work for you. And it's not always seamless, but it is like his performance is actually really good, I think.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think it's unbelievable.
And I like the people they're pairing with. Victor, his little sidekick, I think is great. I'm a little worried for his long-term prospects.
Yeah, he got so bamboozled with this, like brutal. And you haven't mentioned her, but Cristin Milioti is to me like holy crap good.
Yeah, I think she's as good as Colin Farrell is, and he is good. Cristin Milioti's she's stealing the show. She's the highlight, I think.
Because I feel like we understand Penguin, like a lot of times, like even though he can be a little unpredictable, a lot of times I can kind of see where he's going with something.
Yeah.
Like with the ring incident and whatnot. I'm like, when was that?
Yeah.
So
the opening setup of the show is great because you feel they do a little feint where it's like, okay, so it's going to be Penguin underneath Alberto, and he's going to have to figure that out. And spoilers for the first episode of Penguin, before the title card, he kills Alberto, and you're like, oh, this is a different show now.
Also, you guys put a star in that role.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there thinking, oh, he's in the show.
Yeah. Yep.
That was wild.
But you're saying we kind of gotta we know his deal.
Yeah. With Sofia, it's like I do not know what she's capable of.
Yeah.
The way that we are seeing different levels. And she is like, this is a weird thing to say, but Penguin isn't tapped. He is, he does smarmy stuff. I learned it's smarmy, not swarmy.
Yeah.
I've been saying it wrong my whole life.
Oh.
Seedy and smarmy, but she is like out of her mind. And kind of love that for us.
No, it's great, and it's also she does it really because it's also really easy talking about, and I guess that's the thing that impresses me about the show. One of the things that impresses me about the show is they avoid easy pitfalls. It'd be very easy for all those prosthetics to do the work for Colin Farrell, and he's not doing that. Like he's actually creating a relatively three-dimensional person who's a comic book villain, and also literally it had to be a nightmare to get in those prosthetics every episode.
Have you not heard him talk about this?
I think I've heard snippets. I've been a little preoccupied.
I mean, he's like, people think there might not be a season 2 because of just how much he said 5 hours a day. He said it was like the worst experience of his life.
Yeah, I bet, but he's doing a good job.
Yeah.
For Sofia, it'd be really easy to do the classic like playing crazy. And she's not like it is a person. She's playing this as a person that happens to be unpredictable and have mental health issues. And they are great together. I think the best scenes, I do like Victor a lot. I like what Victor brings out of the character. But I think the best scenes on the show are her and Penguin. I also think another thing I like about the show is that they embrace the fact that Penguin is a loser. You know what I mean? They're not being like, Penguin's so cool. It's like, he's like scraping by the skin of his teeth. Like he is barely get through every situation, and he's kind of a fuck up. And I think that makes this a better show.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really into this so far. I think that this is just expanding. It's making me even like the Batman universe that they created more.
Yeah.
There've been talks this week about, is this going to ultimately be the DCU?
I think I saw a thumbnail with you in it to that effect. Can you update me on what is spurring those discussions?
Yeah. That was for Christian's show. That was from Zasloff, I believe, and Gunn talking about whether or not Robert Pattinson's Batman would be the DC Batman and what that would look like.
I agree with that. I think that's a good conversation to have because I just think that's a smart just make him your Batman, because I know watching this and watching the Batman and stuff Matt Reeves has said, he's like, I want to keep this grounded. That's fine. But we've already had 3 relatively grounded Batman movies. And I kind of think we tapped the well on that. And watching the Batman, for as dark as it was, it did remind me of Batman the Animated Series. And most good Batman stories start off with, hey, he's fighting crime bosses. Dark Knight. He's fighting crime bosses. And then things keep escalating with weirdos and psychos and whatever. If I'm Gunn and Zaslav, I'm having that same conversation. I'm like, can we just make our Pats our Batman? Can we just do that? The Batman is good. It was well liked. Let Matt Reeves do whatever he wants. And then, when you're done, we're taking, because I think Robert Pattinson has said stuff like, yeah, I want to hang out with Superman. I want my Batman to fight Superman. So it's like, follow that call. Just do that.
Yeah. I think I think it's a conversation worth having. I don't know which path it leads down. And I don't know if whatever Gunn and Safran's plan for Superman, it works in that Batman. I don't know what is on the table. So it's hard for us with half knowledge to have any idea whether that's the right move or the wrong move. Yeah. But certainly to not have that conversation after he's a very loved Batman and that movie was loved and Penguin Show is loved and they've created a world that people love. Yeah. To not have that conversation would be weird.
Yeah, it'd be weird because it's like, wait, we have something that's working. Can we do something with that? That's a good, yes, have that conversation. Right. I do think you're right. There is a world where the Superman movie is so different that it might not work. But I am kind of a big proponent of like Batman and Superman's worlds should feel really different. Like they should, that's what makes them crossing over cool. Like I've been, through bottle feedings and stuff like that, I'm watching different movies and it's usually stuff I've seen before, so I don't have to like really dial into it. So I went back and I watched Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. And I was like, there's a world. It's not our world, but there's a world where after Batman Returns, they call up Christopher Reeve and have his Superman hang out with Michael Keaton's Batman. Instead of Batman Forever, we do the Christopher Reeve, Michael Keaton Batman movie. And people would be like, but they're so different. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the point, man. Like, that's kind of like what makes those things. Marvel's bag is everything feels the same. That's never been DC's thing. Everything is kind of like arc welded together from different worlds. Like, that's what makes it fun. So me personally, you're right. I might feel different when I see Superman, but I just, emotionally, I'm like, I kind of don't care if it feels different. It'd be cool to see our Pat's Batman hang out with this new Superman.
Like after seeing the Joker 1, DJ, did you feel like, and we know it's not because we saw Joker and our Pat, like that's not what they're doing. But after seeing that, were you like these two could merge?
No, but I do think it would be interesting. Like, could you have gotten Joaquin to just do, like J.K. Simmons plays J. Jonah Jameson in every Spider. He's in the original ones and he's in the Tom Holland ones. Could you just bring Joaquin, just, hey man, do your thing over here now, but it's not the same. It's not the same guy. You know what I mean? That would probably be too confusing. But if your question is tonally, they're both ripping off classic crime movies. One's the old school Scorsese, one's Seven and Zodiac. So why not? Yeah.
So I felt that way after the first one, like, oh, tonally, we could merge here. Yeah. Not we can physically, but just like, oh, they seem like they're in the same corner somewhere. Yeah. I feel like what Gunn and Safran has said about Superman, like, even though, I don't know, it just seems like that's just super not what they're trying to do. Yeah. But I don't know.
That, Roxy, thank you. You gave us a great segue into Joker FOLIE À DEUX, the sequel to, I think it was 2019's Joker. This one is also directed by Todd Phillips, written by Scott Silver and Todd Phillips. Right now, Tomato Meter not doing so hot, 56%. We don't have a Popcornometer score yet. This, of course, is starring Joaquin Phoenix, returning as Arthur Fleck / the Joker, and now has Lady Gaga playing Lee Quinzel, a.k.a. Harley Quinn. Roxy, you've seen this movie. I have not. I said earlier in the episode that I have cooled down quite a bit on the original Joker. I never loved it, but now it's like, I don't know. So, and as I started seeing the discourse trickle in for Joker 2, I'm like, man, I'm glad I got a newborn right now, and I don't even have to. There's not even a question that I'm going to see this movie. It's not happening until it hits Max. I'm not seeing this movie.
Yeah. Okay. What are my thoughts?
What are your thoughts on Joker 2?
I think that the positives are the two performances, which really the movie is 95% Joker and Harley.
That sounds cool.
Yes. And they both absolutely annihilate.
Yeah.
Their performances are stellar. So good. Gaga's amazing in this role. She really changes her voice for it.
Oh, really?
Her singing voice.
Oh, wow.
And that worked so well. Like, I loved the voice that she created for Harley. I thought she did such a beautiful job with that. Not falling into any tropes or traps, really creating her own Harley with her own, because this is, despite what they say, this is a musical.
Yeah.
There's 10 songs, so this is a musical.
Yeah.
Full-blown musical. And she sings half of them, and he did a great job too with his voice. So vocally, super strong, performance-wise, really strong. The movie looked amazing. It was a $200 million budget. It looks like the first movie was $70 million budget. This looks like it upped its budget, cinematography-wise, sound-wise, location-wise. I don't think it needed to cost that much money, but just saying it looks amazing.
Yeah.
I think that Todd Phillips' direction is really strong. He creates a lot of chemistry between these two, and it is at times really fun to watch the two of them.
Wow, it sounds like you really like this movie.
The story is not good.
Okay.
Sorry, that's not the right way to phrase it. The story did not work for me.
Yeah.
And so that's a problem with the movie that has all of the other elements. The hair and makeup was amazing. The costumes were amazing. The story's not there for me.
Yeah.
And I actually don't know. I would love to ask him, what story were you trying to tell, and what did you want us to leave feeling?
Mm-hmm.
Because the first one, whether you like it or not, I did like it, but whether you like it or not, has a lot of messaging in it.
Yeah.
About groupthink and cults, and how does somebody turn into the person that they are, and nature versus nurture.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of conversations afterwards. This one, I was like, I have no idea what this movie's about.
Yeah. Cool.
I just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And then it ends in a way that I was like, oh, wow, I really didn't know what this movie is.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was like missing a story.
Yeah.
And that was left me, the minute the movie ended, I was like, because actually, when I was watching it, I didn't not enjoy a minute of watching it. Like, I was like, but then afterwards, I'm just kind of like, what?
So your issue with the story is that the point of it was unclear. Is that a way of phrasing it?
The point was unclear, and the plot doesn't stick the landing.
Okay.
So those two things, because sometimes movies can just be fun and wild, and there really is not supposed to be this big takeaway.
Yeah.
But this was like, if there's not going to be a big takeaway, I need to feel like that was a full, well-rounded story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this isn't a spoiler for the plot at all, but this is a stylistic spoiler.
Yeah.
Can I give it to you?
Please.
Okay. If you don't want any spoilers, tune out for the next minute.
Yeah.
So the movie opens with an animated short.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That was really interesting.
Okay.
I was like, wow. Okay, I wonder if that is messaging for what this movie is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's a animated Joker short, and the premise of that I was fascinated by and was like, whoa, so cool. Then the movie has absolutely nothing to do with that.
Great.
And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Why did we do what? So there was a lot of moments like that where I thought something was going to pay off that didn't. So it's not even just that there's no takeaway. It's that like things weren't paying off the way that I feel like they kind of promised.
Gotcha. I heard a lot of the movie takes place in a courtroom and like relitigates the previous movie, and that was some of the complaints I was seeing was like, we saw that movie. I don't know why we're spending so much time revisiting it. Did you feel the same way, or?
Yeah, it does do that. This movie takes a stab at talking about mental health.
Cool. Sure, that goes great.
I don't know what its thoughts are on that.
Mm-hmm.
And they do that through a courtroom setting.
Yeah.
Which was off-putting and not clear.
It's one of those things that it's like, I think it is important that we have more conversations about mental health. I don't know that the Joker is the proper vehicle for that. As a character, I understand why somebody might think he is. I don't know that that's the one. You know what I mean? And
no, more Harley than Joker, honestly.
Okay.
I'm saying that like that's who I think would be a better vehicle.
Yes, well, absolutely. And because, Harley has, as a character, in the fiction, has had an arc, and she's in a different place now. And so that you have a little bit more freedom to do that. What was I was just thinking of another one where it's kind of like, we're going to use this character to talk about this. And like, maybe don't. Oh, back in Daredevil season 2, where, the idea of having Matt Murdock be the defending lawyer for Frank Castle, that's a great concept. And then they start getting, or in like Punisher season 1, like, we're going to use the Punisher to talk about PTSD. It's like, I understand why that might be the instinct, but, maybe don't. maybe the Punisher's not the right...
that worked better for me than this did, but I hear you.
Yeah, because it's tough with these fictional like they represent. I don't know that it's like a one-to-one to our day-to-day life. I don't know that it's the best,
Yeah. You ever watch a movie where you're watching with somebody and you just keep wanting to turn to them and talk about it?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I felt about this the whole time. Like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. What are we doing?
Whoa.
Yeah.
That was wild. And there is one scene in the movie, which I'm curious if other people feel this way, where afterwards, like after that scene, I was like, I actually don't know what just happened.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it just happened. And so I'm both confused and concerned. And then it's never addressed.
Great.
And I was like, whoa, what?
So it's 2 hours, 18 minutes. That's not too bad. What did you think of? So you liked the scene?
It felt like only 2 hours too. It flew by.
Okay. So what do you, I do want to spend a little bit of time. We do have questions on the Discord, so I want to get into those. But so you touched on it a little bit, but I'd like to spend a little bit more time on Lady Gaga as Harley. I've also heard, actually, no, this plays to a question that we had in the thing. Jake Hefner asked from the Discord, do you think Lady Gaga was well used? I've read conflicting opinions saying she wasn't used enough, which if true is absurd. Do you think they utilized her well in the movie?
I'm super confused by that. I've been seeing that too. People are like, I hear she's in such a minimal amount of the movie. I don't actually know what her screen time amount was, but I felt like she was like, it's still called Joker.
Yeah.
But she was clearly the number 2, and we spent a ton of time with her.
Yeah.
She has multiple songs. She has a beginning, middle, and end. There's so much Harley that this was definitely not a complaint of mine.
Gotcha. Because to me, as somebody whose feelings on the original Joker have become more sour as time has gone on, the part that interests me, the idea of making it the sequel musical is in a way kind of hilarious to me. So that's interesting. But also Lady Gaga's Harley, it's like, that's great. That's genius. That's actually a really smart decision. And I'm interested in that. Yeah.
She's excellent. Every minute she was on screen was my favorite minutes of the movie. And it felt like a lot of the movie to me.
Yeah.
I saw somebody say she was in only 30 minutes of the movie. I find that extremely hard to believe.
Yeah.
But maybe, I guess, because of all the courtroom stuff, she's there, but not like featured as much. I don't know.
It also sounds, not to get into too inside baseball or whatever, it sounds like it was a real interesting shoot. Like both Lady Gaga and Todd Phillips have anecdotes like, yeah, we'd be all set up, and then Joaquin Phoenix would come in and throw out all the pages, and we'd have to start from scratch. I'm like, that Sounds awful.
You say that? Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that sounds really frustrating. But if it worked for you, all good for you. We also have another question from the Discord. Mike Joyce asked, after seeing the movie, do you think the $200 million budget was spent well?
I saw it in IMAX.
Oh, wow.
It looked incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the majority of the money went to Todd, Joaquin, and Gaga.
Yeah,
So,
I would imagine that's true. Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it looked on par with a little bit slightly better than Joker 1.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And this question, this is another one from Mike Joyce. This is going back to the Penguin, I believe. Would you want Batman to appear in the show in some form? Something like him in the background of a scene, or a Penguin arriving somewhere to witness the aftermath of Batman wrecking shop?
not season 1.
Okay.
How about you?
I would in some way, and I think the reason I feel that way is there's one of my favorite graphic novels is Joker, written by Brian Azzarello and illustrated by Lee Bermejo, and that I'm surprised we haven't used that as more of a template for these things, because it's following Joker. It opens with Joker let out of Arkham. It's from the perspective of this guy, just this random guy that's sent to pick him up, and he's kind of like the Victor character in the Penguin. He's just a low-level dude within the organization. He's sent to pick up the Joker from Arkham, and he kind of becomes Joker's right-hand guy. And so instead of being in Joker's POV, we're in this guy's POV watching the Joker work his way through the criminal underworld of Gotham. And it builds to, we never see Bat. There's a lot of talk of the Bat, but we never see him until the very end. That's what it all builds to. And I like the idea of Batman casting the shadow over everything. So I don't need like Penguin to have an interaction with R-Pats, but to like see him on a rooftop, or like show up at an aftermath of him taking out a bunch of thugs, or just this idea of like, this is a constant thing that I have to worry about. I have to worry about the Maronis. I have to worry about the Falcones. And then there's this crazy dude in a bat costume that might knock my teeth out. That's another thing that's on my plate that I have to think about. There was talk for a little bit of them doing a GCPD show. Same thing. I just think it'd be interesting if we don't need to spend time on Batman. It doesn't even need to be our Pats in the suit. Just this idea of like, that's what makes this story unique, and unlike another crime show, or if they did GCPD, another cop show, it's that there's this maniac running around in a bat costume. So like, I want to feel that a little bit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe a little taste. I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't be pissed at it.
Yeah.
I just feel like then the audience is going to really be expecting like, if we introduced Batman at all in season 1, season 2, they're going to be expecting Batman.
Do you think, I know you just mentioned because of the makeup, we might not get a season 2. Thoughts? Do you think?
I think we're going to, because he's being so well received that I think he'll suck it up.
I think I agree with that, other than like, we've talked about this in other shows, so we don't need to relitigate it. But like, the TV landscape's so weird now, where like, I don't even know if this is built to have multiple seasons. You know what I mean? Like, right now we're in a space where like WandaVision clearly was never meant to have a season 2. So now to, I guess, like sort of have a spiritual season 2, we have Agatha all along, which by the way, I'm enjoying, but it is one of those like, why does this exist? why are Agatha really? All right.
No idea why it exists, but I'm loving the show. So great.
Yeah, it can be hit or miss for me, but I'm overall enjoying it. But it is just one of those like, why? It's just the landscape's weird. So I would, and then it's like, because I think that this takes place a week after The Batman, and I've heard them say the Batman 2 takes place a week after season 1 of The Penguin. So it's like, is this just a one-off show? And then Shogun, which was supposed to be a one-off, was so well received, and now it's getting a season 2, which is great and good for them, by the way, getting all the Emmys. They deserve it. Great show. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I'd take it. I like it. So we'll see. And then, hey, listen, WB, you want our Bat villain pitches? Send us your number. We'll give them to you. Walk to Remember with Mr. Freeze. Make a Catwoman show. What are you doing? Anyway, that is it for us this week. Thank you for joining us for a Bat Villain Talk. Before we go, Roxy, can you remind the kids at home where they can find everything you're working on?
Yeah, you can find me everywhere at Roxy Stryer. Movie Crust is coming out soon. where you guys will be able to see it at home in the comfort of your own home. I know that's what DJ's doing now with Baby.
Yes.
So that, yeah.
Yeah, check that out when that movie comes out. We'll put a link in the description. Stay tuned for that. You can find me at DJ Talks Trash. Like I said, you can also check out my personal channel, also DJ Talks Trash. I've got the show Trash Talk where I'm talking to people. Christian Harloff was on. I had Trisha Hirschberger on. And my most recent one was Michael Swaim. Go give that a look and a listen. And you can find the show everywhere that matters at Only Stupid Answers, but on Twitter/X.
Yank out the vowels from stupid.
And we will see you all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.